Not all girls that do crazy stuff with men for money just wanted to buy a wig or a handbag or travel vacation. A lot of them actually want to take it back home. And there's global research that shows that one of the best ways to combat global poverty is to empower young women in rural areas. And that's because women always bring it back home. Whatever women do, like they're always thinking about home. Like they're always thinking, okay, I have this younger brother that needs this. I have this, my dad needs this, my mom needs this. And there's also one quote that I saw somewhere that really made me sad. It was like, rich kids always ask their parents for everything, and poor kids always think about giving their parents everything. And that is just heartbreaking because that has always been my situation. Hi, I'm Jolita and I love self development. I want to create a community where we develop together and I share my thoughts and my ideas so that when you find something that resonates with you, you pick it up and put that thing to use. Okay? Okay. I used to use men for money, and it's not something that I do not judge the girl that did that, but I grew up in a family that was like had limitation in finances, and at this point, I knew that every family, everybody was traumatized. Like we are all traumatized. Like it's not an excuse to do anything bad, but that was just a way that I felt like I would survive. So I grew up in a family where we didn't have much finances. And after secondary school, I got admission. I got a job actually as a waitress. And at my job, like it's normal. Like I was just a teenager. I was probably like 16. And these men, do you know what? Men don't care. Men don't care. Like they don't see a teenager like a teenager. I don't know why. Now that's not all men, but most men, let me not say most men, some pervert, they don't care. Like once you've developed some boobs and some, adult body, which these days girls develop really really fast, they see you like you are edible and they want to try their luck. So these would be like married men. Some of them could even be like my dad's age or even older. They wanted me. And then like I don't know why, but I had kind of learned the art of seduction, not because I read the book, but I just kind of like learned how to lead someone on and make them feel like I'm going to give them what they want, when in my heart I knew I wasn't going to give them what they want. So I know it's a very difficult situation to put a young girl in, but then I was working with my brother, a cousin of mine who was the bartender, and my elder sister was also working in the same place. So it wasn't like I was all alone left with all these vultures that wanted to eat me up. But then I was kind of exposed to men early. So I would, when they asked for my number, I would give them my number. They would call me sometimes in the evening and say, they wanted to see me. Then I would just say, oh yeah, I would come, but I have this issue at home. I actually need airtime. When I'm ready to come out, okay, I could say something like, yeah, I'll see you later, but I don't have airtime to call you. And because they are trying to impress me, see, if you want to get money from men, the best time to get it is when they are trying to get you, because they'll throw everything in to try and get your attention. So I would like tell them that, and they could send me some money. And the money they sent me wasn't really much, but at the time it was everything, like because I didn't have anything. So they would send me money, and then later I would say something came up. God, now I'm realizing like that was lies. Like I was becoming good at lying. So even when it was time for us to hang out, I would make sure that we're hanging out in a very public place, especially because I was always working in the evening. It even made it like a bit difficult for them to see me, for me to like expose myself at that time of the evening. And so I would keep leading the person on until they give me as much as they can give me without getting what they want. And that's it with men. Like a lot of the men that want your attention just for eggs or for whatever they want to get from you, they really can put in as much into it. If they don't get what they want, they may move on. And I was cool with that because I wasn't greedy. I didn't even want luxurious things. I just wanted to survive like a normal like girl would. And it may be like, okay, but you were working now, but how much was I earning? It was like $7 a month. Like what would that do to for me? When I left that job, I went to the university, it kind of was the same thing. Like, it always made me feel bad within myself because I felt like I'm hanging out with this person that I really don't want to be hanging out with, and I'm doing that just because I feel like they will give me money. So sometimes I'll go out with them, go hang out with them. And then when I'm leaving, they could give me some transport, maybe like like a little amount of money that really didn't mean anything, but to me then it was like a lot, and that was the money I was using to survive day by day. Because in the household that I grew up, it was only one person holding down the finances of the house, and I really didn't want to put more pressure, and there were so many other people that particular parent was taking care of, so I really didn't want to put more pressure on them. So when I found myself in situations like that, that was like my only hope to look to. I did not sleep with anybody, I did not like go to bed and lay with them or whatever, but I would lead them on to the safest position. And I can say that I've put my life in danger several times just because. And now looking back at it, like, that was very risky. What I wish I had was someone that would help me channel that level of like that level of adventure or risk taking into something more positive, which I kind of did because I ended up joining a music band. I was making money from that, but then that was another place where men would see me and, say they like me. And I remember there was one very, very memorable one for me. That was like the biggest risk I took then. So this man saw me in another state. We went to another state to go sing at someone's wedding, and the person was a politician. So like so many other politicians came to the wedding, and this person that saw me happened to be like the chairman of that community, of that local government. And so when he saw me, he sent someone to go get my phone number. And when the person went and got it, I didn't want to give it honestly, but the leader of the band, he kind of like felt like he knew what's up, and then he wanted to, I don't know, if they want to hook me up or link me up or whatever. He kind of gave my number to this person. When we came back to the state where I lived, the person called me and said he's so and so. He didn't even call me himself. Someone called me and told me that his boss wanted to see me. That person stayed in a different state, so like the capital territory of our country. So in my usual manner, I was like, okay, send me transport, because that's a normal thing that I do. Someone would say they wanted to see me, and I would just say, send me the transport, and they'll send it, and I'll never go, they would never see me. I said, send me transport, and the person sent it. Now, this is where I would say you really, really have to be careful, because no matter how strong you are, there are numbers that will tempt you. And it may not be necessarily big, but depending on your level, it will tempt you. And he sent me some money, and that amount of money at this point is really nothing, like it's change, but then it was really big for me, so I was so tempted. And I told him that, okay, I was on my period then. I had just started my period that day, and I was supposed to go for Fridays, for Saturday, Sunday. Oh, I think Friday afternoon, then Saturday, then Sunday afternoon, I'm back to my state because I had to go to school the next day. I agreed. When they sent me the money, I was like, whoa, imagine, how much more they could give me, blah, blah, blah. So I risked my life, entered the car, went to the place. When I went there, someone came and picked me up, took me to the house. I mean, like, listen to crazy stories that happen to girls. Yeah, this was insane. Like, this was me putting my life at risk. And I really, my heart goes out to the girl, to me, that felt like I had to do that, because it's really, I was lucky. I would say I was really, really lucky. Here I was risking my life, and when I went there into the house, the person welcomed me and said I should take a shower, blah, blah, blah. I went took a shower, and he said, we're gonna go hang out. And so we went out, we went to hang out. That was my first time eating snail. It was really nice, it was so delicious. And when we came back, it was time for action, and I told him that I was on my period. He was so disappointed. He was like, we girls were always so manipulative, we always lead them on this and that. And he was so upset that he like left me in the room, and I felt so bad. At that point, I felt like this man could literally get me erased from this planet and nobody would know, like nothing would happen, because he's a politician and he's like powerful and influential. And I kept praying in my heart that nothing happens to me. And it's so crazy because I know that so many girls put themselves in this kind of situation. And for we females, it's more difficult for us to protect ourselves just because we're physically less strong than the men. That's just how it is. It's just biology. So when something really happens, like, how do you defend yourself? So I wouldn't advise anyone to do that. That's very risky. Looking back now, I really did not have to do that because when it was time to go, I ended up leaving that evening because he was so upset. But he gave me some money, and then that money, I would say it lasted me for just 2 weeks. And it didn't really mean anything. It didn't really mean anything. But now looking back at it, what I did with that money was I mostly gave it to my family members. I put it in envelopes and I sent it to my family members, and they were so happy. And this to show you how girls risk their lives just to provide for their families. Like, not all girls that do crazy stuff with men for money just wanted to buy a wig or a handbag or to buy, I don't know, travel, vacation. Like, a lot of them actually want to take it back home. And there's a global research that shows that the one of the best ways